I've been keeping my distance, not because I don't care, but because I'm grappling with something deep inside. There's a part of me that fears what might happen if I share my truth with you. The weight of this fear often feels heavier than the distance between us. Every time I think about opening up to you, I hesitate, caught in the spiral of my own thoughts. I want to tell you everything, but the fear of your reaction holds me back. It's a conflict that keeps me at arm's length while my heart longs for closeness. I've been distant because there's a secret in my heart that I'm terrified to voice. The fear of losing you or changing what we have is paralyzing. I want to reach out, but the fear of vulnerability is keeping me silent. Please understand my distance isn't a reflection of my feelings for you. I'm wrestling with an internal battle, afraid that if I expose my fears and doubts, it might change everything we share. It's easier to stay silent than to risk it all. The silence between us often feels deafening. It's not that I don't want to talk, it's that I'm afraid of what I might say. The fear of revealing my insecurities and the truth of my feelings keeps me retreating into myself. I've been holding back not because I don't want to share, but because I'm terrified of how you'll react. The thought of opening up about my fears makes me feel exposed, like I'm standing in front of you, completely vulnerable. There's a distance I've created, but it's filled with so many unspoken words. I wish I could muster the courage to tell you what's truly weighing on my heart. It's easier to hide than to risk everything I cherish. I'm afraid to share the truth of why I've been distant. Each time I consider it, the fear of rejection and judgment floods my mind. I want to break free from this silence, but the anxiety of your response holds me captive. Every time I see you, I'm reminded of the distance I've put between us. It's not that I want to be apart. I'm just scared to reveal the truths that haunt me. The thought of you knowing my struggles makes me feel incredibly vulnerable. I want to reach out to bridge this gap, but my fear is like an invisible wall. I know that opening up could bring us closer, yet the fear of being misunderstood or dismissed keeps me from taking that step. You deserve the truth, and yet here I am, standing in the shadows of my own fears. I've been distant because I'm wrestling with feelings that I don't know how to articulate. My heart is heavy with what I haven't said. There's a part of me that wants to scream out my truths, yet I remain silent, paralyzed by the fear of your reaction. The idea of sharing my vulnerability feels like stepping into a void, and it terrifies me to think of falling. I've been retreating into myself, hiding from the very person I want to be close to. It's ironic, isn't it? I keep you at a distance to protect myself, yet in doing so, I only create more pain. The fear of rejection feels too big to bear. You see the distance, but you don't see the turmoil inside me. I'm not distant because I don't care. I'm distant because I'm wrestling with emotions that feel too complex to share. I fear they may change everything. I wish I could tell you the truth without feeling the weight of judgment. My heart races at the thought of sharing my fears, and I often convince myself that it's better to stay quiet. But the silence is suffocating. Behind my distance lies a whirlwind of thoughts I can't seem to untangle. I want to let you in, to show you the parts of me I hide, but the fear of vulnerability keeps me locked away. It's a battle I fight every day. I often wonder if you can sense my hesitation, the way I pull away at times. It's not that I want to shut you out. I'm simply afraid of how my truths might change your perception of me. It's easier to stay guarded. The truth I carry is heavy, and I don't know how to share it without risking the connection we have. Each moment I keep this fear bottled up feels like a missed opportunity to deepen our bond. I've been distant because I'm terrified of revealing the parts of me that feel broken. I fear that once I show you my vulnerabilities, it will change how you see me. I want you to love me, but I'm scared of what that entails. It's a strange feeling, wanting to be close to someone while simultaneously pushing them away. I'm afraid that if I share my fears, I'll be met with disappointment. The fear of hurting you holds me back from being honest. I know my distance is noticeable, and I wish I could explain it better. I'm caught in this cycle of fear, afraid of losing you while also needing to protect myself. It's a contradiction that leaves me feeling trapped. The thought of exposing my vulnerabilities terrifies me. I want to break down the walls I've built, but I fear that once I let you in, you might not understand the depth of what I'm feeling. It's easier to stay distant than to risk being misunderstood. I often wonder if you can feel the distance I've created. It's a painful barrier built on fear and uncertainty. I wish I could find the courage to share my thoughts with you, but the fear of what it might change holds me back. Each day, I grapple with the conflict of wanting to reach out while feeling paralyzed by fear. The unspoken words pile up inside me, and it becomes increasingly difficult to maintain this distance. I crave connection, yet I fear what it might cost. I've been distant not because I want to be, but because I'm afraid of what my honesty might bring. The thought of you knowing my deepest fears is daunting, and I worry that it could alter the way you perceive me. I want to protect what we have. It's frustrating to feel so close to someone, yet so far away. I keep my distance out of fear, afraid that opening up about my struggles will create a rift between us. I wish I could share my truth without feeling like I'm risking everything. There's a part of me that yearns to connect, to share everything that's weighing on my heart. But the fear of your reaction is like a chain that holds me back. I'm afraid that my truth will bring disappointment or hurt, so I choose silence. Behind my distance is a heart full of unspoken thoughts and feelings. I want to let you in, to show you my true self, but the fear of vulnerability keeps me locked away. It's a painful irony that my desire for closeness leads me to push you away. The silence between us is suffocating, filled with the weight of my unshared fears. I often wonder how things might change if I opened up to you. But the thought of your judgment makes me hesitate, and I retreat further into myself. I know that my distance can be confusing, and I want to explain it to you. I'm not trying to push you away. I'm simply afraid that sharing my truth will change everything. I'm caught in a cycle of wanting to connect, but feeling too scared to do so. I feel trapped in this cycle of fear and hesitation. Every time I think about sharing my thoughts with you, the anxiety of what might happen overwhelms me. I long for the courage to be honest, but the fear of rejection keeps me silent. I've built a fortress around my heart, and while it feels safe, it also feels lonely. I want to share my fears and doubts with you, but the thought of revealing my vulnerabilities makes me pull away. It's a battle I fight daily. Each time I see you, I'm reminded of the things I wish I could share. The fear of losing you if I tell you my truth weighs heavily on my heart. I want to connect deeply, but the fear of what that might mean holds me back. I wish I could tell you why I've been distant, but the words get stuck in my throat. I'm afraid that if I open up, it will create a chasm that's harder to cross. The fear of change keeps me from being honest, and it hurts more than I can say. There's a truth inside me that's begging to be spoken, yet I find myself paralyzed by fear. I want to reach out, to connect with you, but the fear of judgment makes it hard to break through the silence. I feel torn between wanting to share and wanting to hide.